Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Facing the Music with Terry Oldfield. My name is John Valdivia, producer at idesound.com. This series, curated from candid conversations, will introduce a return to the mystery and wonder of existence, as well as our necessity to confront ourselves. We shall also feature selected pieces from Terry's extensive musical anthology. In the last episode of this series, Terry discusses the necessity of dissolving belief systems. He proposes that they are the boundaries we impose on the infinite field of reality. He reminds us that life is the only practice we may need, as it brings more than enough to help us keep learning. Welcome to Facing the Music.
Belief systems are really the thing we should focus on at the moment. It's important for most of these belief systems to dissolve. They're the limitations that we place upon reality by saying this is so and this is such and such, this is the way. Well, let's just take the bottom line belief that I am my body. This causes a heck of a lot of trouble because death looms, because all bodies die and decay and go back into the earth. So if that's me, what's the point? I can fight it and try and live as long as possible, but I'm just on death row. Imagine if we could live knowing absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, as a living reality, that I am not limited to a physical body. Death is out the window. I'm not going into that furnace. I'm not being eaten by worms. I am now completely free in this life to enjoy it because I'm not afraid anymore. This is the bottom line belief that has to become a known. That's the one belief we need to seriously consider until it becomes absolute living knowledge and living reality. We try to build the world after death through religion. But that stays in the area of belief systems. And if this is a mentally created world, it's truly possible that at the point of death, we'll hang on to that belief system and live in whatever we believe is going to happen, if that's strong enough. Until you experience being out of the body, you will not be convinced. And there are many avenues by which this can be explored. And some may say, well, you're just living in a fantasy, it's just a dream. But actually, when you experience full consciousness in a dream, and it feels as real as this world, daily life, that's a different ballgame, you see. To begin with, it's a belief system. Definitely. I believe I'm not my body. That's how it begins. But then the examination of the mind starts to look, and that's where the neti whole thing of yoga comes in. You see, I'm not this, not this, not this. So what am I? You can only say what you're not. Like a child will look at a hand and say, am I that finger? Well, no, because I could cut it off and I'd still be here, And which part couldn't I cut off so that I would disappear? Oh, that's the brain. So I'm a brain. That's the way children think, you see. What we're after is direct experience. So let's explore the bottom line belief that we're our body. That is the beginning of that self-discovery. Yes, we can believe what others say and follow a guru and say, oh yes, I believe you, and do what he says and all that. It may have its value, but it's only got its value in as much as that teacher cannot tell you anything other than don't follow me in the end, because that is the bottom line message is that you're already the thing that you're following. I mean, obviously we can have a teacher who, if you want to learn to play the cello, it helps to have a teacher. The cellist Pablo Casals, he practiced every day till he died. And somebody asked him a question, well, surely you don't need to practice so much, Pablo. I mean, you're the best cello player. He said, but I'm still improving. That's the attitude of a real perfectionist who knows that the more you play with these things, the more that they become part of your body. You don't want that in the way when you're playing. You don't want to have to think about, where do I put my fingers to make E? Oh, I've got to plan ahead because I've got a D sharp coming up, You don't need that. It's like when you watch the little babies learning to walk, they have to practice. There's a lot of stumbling going on. There's a lot of falling on the face. And after a while, it becomes second nature. It's like anything, you need to practice for sure. But where I draw the line is you don't need to practice quietening the mind, because that can become just another habit where you make yourself feel better. I only know that because I went there for 25 years or more. I became a mind quietener and addicted to meditation. And of course it works, but it's a dull, stupid mind in a way, because it's got to deal with the world. It has to face the world eventually. You've got to face the music. You've got to turn and face the change. I'm not saying practices aren't important. They have their place, but only up to a certain point. Once you see, when you get the message, you put the book down. The enormous complexity comes from not seeing through the surface, enough to be able to avoid getting sucked into the game, to the illusion that we are separate. We all have glimpses. Have you come across another book called Perfect Brilliant Stillness? It's about this guy he went on this journey of self-discovery, which took him to South America. And I think he was doing the ayahuasca stuff because he was in the Amazon rainforests. And he was suddenly totally awake in an instant. But then from then on, he had this journey of having to integrate into the world. I think it's important to look at the word nuts and what it means, you see. What is nuts? If you go back to the jester in the tarot cards, it's the nutcase, the village idiot. It's the one who's no longer buying into the rhetoric. buying into the agreement that can see through the agreement. And he doesn't really care what people think of him anymore, because that whole world of identity is fluid, transient. It's no longer a fixed thing like Terry in his body sitting in a chair talking to John and swapping belief systems. We have gone beyond that. And so we're open. Perhaps that's what nuts is, gone nuts. Like Krishnamurti says, it's got to come from here. You cannot tell somebody about your experience. It's got to be fully experienced here, in this body, or outside this body. So when I found myself sitting on the floor in that cabin on a boat, crossing over to Greece, and I looked up and I saw myself in the bunk. It was a very, very unpleasant experience. The fictitious I had a meltdown, for God's sake. I thought I was in there. That's my temple, my secure little... So I raced to get back in. And that's what happens also with, Robert Monroe, when he starts to do that. He desperately tries to get back to the body. Oh my God, I'm dying. I've lost my foothold on reality. That starts to happen when you just start to question things. When I was living in London briefly, when Rachel was being born, I was reading Paul Brunton's book, The Doctrine of Mentalism. The very first suggestions I'd ever heard that perhaps this world isn't made of anything but mental stuff. That thread led me to all sorts of avenues to explore. It's all sort of tied in a way that you get helped as you go, but you cannot be told. No angel can appear and say, "There you go, Terry, you're awake now. That's it, you got it." No. The inquiry has to build up momentum, because desperation comes in after a while, because there are no answers. I can't find the answers. But all those belief systems were burning up, you see. They're burning in the presence of the intense beam of inquiry, the blowtorch of looking. But in the looking is the neti, where you are burning up. I'm not that. I'm not that. I'm not that. That's the burning up of the beliefs, the belief systems. Because ultimately, what the mind thinks is that it's in there somewhere. And that's a part of my journey as well. Seeing that every tiny experience, that every tiny little seeing has burnt up those areas of footholds of the ego, which is made up of all that stuff. Again, I could never point anybody in any particular direction, because everybody has their path, and it's not exactly signposted very well. We have to let go of anything going anywhere. That there's no evolution in the sense of something we can think of as a goal. It's only the attachment to things being a particular way that prevents us from dancing with it. Well, some time ago, I decided I'd give up all practices. I stopped doing yoga, I stopped everything. Now I just do a little bit of stretching because the body is needing it, I feel good. I really enjoy physical work, but I don't make any effort to stop the mind like I used to with meditation, all that sort of stuff. Never do that. I don't take any kind of mind-altering substances. If you follow the way the day unfolds, we will be guided into different areas. And I think it's good not to get too caught up in one thing. I mean, my body starts to tell me I need to get up away from this computer now. And I just walk around the garden and listen to the birds and sit on a bench. And it is an unfolding. Often I wake up in the night and have a couple of hours awake, feeling very, really, really peaceful and happy. Not worrying at all about having to get back to sleep or anything like that. Just listening to the sounds. If we're looking for evidence of transformation, it's again, you're starting to, am I getting there? Am I getting there? Is it happening yet? How would I know when it happens anyway? This is the thing, because it's totally not this, not that. If we can live life being flexible enough to be able to change direction, when the circumstances don't look like they should, or what like you thought they were going to be, like changes of flights. And when we were traveling to Tasmania, we had a direct flight from Brisbane to Launceston in Tasmania. Okay, direct flight. We checked in, got in the car, we started driving to the airport. We were 30 minutes short of the airport. We were already checked in, our luggage, everything. Text comes through from the airline. Oh, we're sorry to say your flight has been cancelled and you have been put on the 6 a.m. flight tomorrow morning with a stopover in Melbourne for 4 hours. Now it's going to take us 2 flights to get to Launceston, plus we have to go to a hotel for the night and cancel the car hire, cancel the hotel in Launceston, complete change of direction. We were very okay with it. We booked a hotel in Brisbane, went out for an Indian meal. I went for a nice walk along the river. Had to get up at 3:30 a.m. the next morning, which we did. We got to the airport and of course everyone's wearing masks, so we had to put our masks on and fight our way through the luggage queues and all that. It was very humbling, really, to be given that experience again, because the more you practice it, the better you are at letting go. So the more opportunities that are thrown at us, let's welcome them, because we're getting much better at letting go. It's a great, great thing. If we can live life being flexible enough to be able to change direction, when the circumstances don't look like they should, just rejoice. We're getting flexible, more and more flexible. A bit like in yoga, when you do salute to the sun every day, you get more flexible, A lot of it's just practice. Being human is practice. Living in this changing world takes practice. I can honestly say I have no ambitions left in life. In terms of success, I've been very, very well looked after. But looking ahead, I mean, we just have to do what's possible and how we feel. I mean, that's all we are ever asked to do. And that's the way I'm living my life now. And if I need to change direction, I change direction. There was a lovely moment when Saraya and I abandoned the car in the snowstorm. We got into the car and we started driving, and suddenly the wheels started to spin, and no matter what we did, the wheels were spinning and spinning. And Saraya and I just looked at each other and said, "Okay, we'll walk."
I sit here by the fire with a simple glass of wine. The embers are slowly fading like memories in time. The house is still and quiet, for the children have all gone. They're out there somewhere living their dreams in a place that they call home. Ambition now is fading. There are no more lines to cast, no vision of a future, no destiny, no past. I'm not looking for a change of scene, just what I have is fine. There's just a single moment, only now is out of time. Many friends have stayed a while, and many soon were gone. Actors in life's mystery, sharing their own song. So let's walk a while together as our melodies unfold. We're movements in a symphony, stories to be told. This world is so crazy now, and truth is hard to find. We're lost in the illusion that it's either yours or mine, and there will be stormy weather in this dream of you and me. But we'll all go home together, rivers to the sea.